One hole. Talk together. I'm listening.
I still really got hurt.
He's really close.
No, I'm still not going to talk. I need to work in there.
Very good.
Do you understand why it should be intense? Why does this have to be intense? The decimals are intense. So to figure it out, what I want to know is, how do you, without the model, without the number line, figure out that those are equivalent? Well, here's where we start. We have to ask ourselves first, what size pieces is this bar cut into? What fraction are we working with? What size pieces? Carly, fifths, right? These are fifths. When we talk about decimal world, we just talked about it, that's why I asked you to remember, where did we start? What are the two places that we work in decimal world? Mallory? Tenths and hundredths. So this number line right here is showing us a number line made of tenths, okay? So this is tenths. Has there ever been a fraction that converts into a decimal? Do we have a fifth place in decimal world? No. So we can't just plug it in. Do we have a seventh place in decimal world? Do we have a 12th place in decimal world? No. We've got two places. But what do we have the power to do with all of those numbers that don't fit? Duncan, nice and loud. What do we have the power to change?
You can multiply them into a number that will fit.
We can manipulate them and multiply them into a number that will fit. So, Duncan and his group took the number 1/5 and they said, can I get tens out of that fifth? How? Well, look at that. What does this look like? Something that you already know how to do. You know how to find an equivalent fraction. So I end up with what? Brock?
2 tenths.
I multiply by 2, and I end up with 2 tenths. Say it again, Brock. What do I end up with?
2 tenths.
2 tenths. Do you know how to write 2 tenths as a fraction?
Yes.
Do you also know how to write 2 tenths as a decimal?
Yes.
So you just did it. That's the formula. You find an equivalent fraction either in the tenths or the hundredths. Okay? All right, so let's do another one. I'm going to let you do this on your own. Let's see if you can figure out the equivalent decimal for 3/5. You don't know that we don't have anything for that.
This has to be a 3 up there.
Carly, I'm not so sure that that's how that works.
So now this has to.
What place is the 30th place?
How do you write that?
Take the 3/5.
And your first hand is
one of the places.
Alright, so that's 8.
Okay, so what is it?
What do you multiply by?
3 plus 2 is 5. He's right.
Now read that number.
So you multiply by 2.
That's not quite right. I'll do that. We are back to we can use improper fractions. And the first way that we're gonna do this is we always have to remember, we gotta know what we're working with first. So what size pieces are these? It's very simple to show, and it says it. You don't have to guess. Lydia? Okay, what size pieces are they? What size pieces are they? Troy? Fourths. You said it, it's right there, Lydia. They're cut into fourths. Okay? So they're cut into fourths. And I have how many? Everyone? 5. So I'm going to fill in this lovely model that it gave me. I'm going to fill in all 5 of these fourths. Okay? How many did I just use? 4. So I still have 1 more. Okay? Here's how we convert improper fractions into decimals. We look at it as separate. What is this 4/4 equivalent to? Everyone? 1 whole. And this 1/4 I can represent as a fraction, 1/4. Can we all agree?
Yes.
5/4 is the same as 1 whole and 1/4. Okay? Now, I take it a step further. To make a decimal, do I need to change anything with this whole number? No. But what can I do to that fraction? What did we just practice? What can I do to that fraction? Duncan? I can convert it into hundredths. Duncan says hundredths. I think tens are easier. Why can't we do tens? Thank you. Why can't we do tenths? We already talked about this. Haley?
Because there's no 10 in the 4, so
Yeah. It has to be hundredths because you can't make fourths into tenths. So, this should be pretty simple. We already did it. What do we multiply by?
25.
So we have 25 100ths. What does that look like as our decimal? So, we have 1 and 25 hundredths. Very good. To walk out the door, I'm going to give you one more problem I want you to solve. This time I want you to try to solve it. 1 and 3/4. Or, we know 1 and 3/4 is also called 7/4. Solve it on your board.
25 is 1/4. 75, there you go. So what is your 1 and what?
So, we have 1 whole. Did that change? No. Now we have 3/4. I'm going to want to take that 3/4 and turn it into what? 100. And that gives us how many hundredths? Lindsay?
7,500.
7,500 hundredths. So our answer is 1.75. Or, how do we say it using places? Duncan?
175.
Very good. Here's the deal. If you can silently line up, you will earn a dojo point. Go ahead and line up.